What's guys, some of this? Welcome back to Shiitake News. Sorry I haven't been updating much, but I have been busy. The world is shaking. A lot of things going on. I'm still stuck here in Tokyo, right in the center of it all. I've been lucky though. Very lucky. I have to travel by train about 2 hours, but I've been very careful, as careful as I can be. COVID. All about COVID today. I hope this finds somebody, and I hope this helps somebody, because the map has changed a lot since the last time I did an update. Yeah, look how little there was in Italy. And now, we're going to go over some stories. Yeah, it's not looking too great down in Italy's having a rough go at it. This is the White House now, it seems. They're not accepting visitors. But I put some stories up here, and just to give you a heads up on what's going on. A few weeks ago, I started posting that you should start preparing for your... Excuse me. I mentioned that you should start preparing and getting everything ready. This was just friendly advice, but now it's more serious. I really do hope you have something prepared. Whoever's listening, whoever happens to come across this, I hope you're buying supplies and things just to stay home for a while. Plan on having a party at your house that's going to last about a month. Set money aside to pay the bills for a month. Whatever you need to get by for a whole month, make sure you have at least that much set aside. I'm from the U.S. I'm from America. We're resourceful. We don't rely on the government to pay for our health care. We don't rely on a lot of things. We're very self-reliant. Execute every single one of your constitutional rights. And be ready. Prepare yourself. Take care of yourself. Even during these disasters, don't let the government overreach. The Washington has been posting updates on what they think is happening and what they think the best course of action is. The CDC has been very active. Nobody had their funding slashed. The federal bank is pumping about $1 trillion to try to keep people going to work. Keep going to work if you can. If you can stay safe, that's number one, but keep going to work. It's for the greater good of everyone. If you can keep providing a service, keep taking care of children, if that's what you do, whatever you're doing, keep at it. It helps everyone in the long run. The best thing you can do if you don't have a job that can directly supports the economy, the people, the medical field, is take care of yourself. Don't be a burden. Provide what you need for yourself at least. And if you have more than enough, provide for others. Food, I keep recommending food. That's the biggest thing you should keep. Toilet paper, don't worry about that. Food, water, in case something happens to the water plant, or you never know what could happen. China says the peak of coronavirus epidemic has passed, but they give you no details. They just put out that one statement. What that means to me is that it hasn't passed, but what has reached its peak is their control over the media. So if they lie to you, there's no way for you to find out. And odds are they are lying. They have more than 1 billion people, almost 1.5 billion. And somehow they contained all of it at 800,000. I have my doubts. Here's a list of the countries. They're stuck at 80,000. Italy reached 12,000 in less than a month. China's been at it for about 4 months. 4 or 5 months. Do you think they stopped it? No, I strongly have my doubts. Start off with China. Italy is now number 2. Iran, South Korea is still up there. France is at 2,000. Spain, Germany, all at 2,000. Germany is now claiming that about 70% of the people will come in contact. And what that means is not that 70% are going to get sick. They're talking about 70% will come in contact, which means they'll have a chance to get sick. Doesn't mean you'll get sick. Doesn't mean it'll be lethal. Doesn't mean anything. It just means more likely the majority of the population is going to come across somebody who is sick or a contaminated area or something along those lines. The U.S. is at 1,300. Norway 700. Cruise ship is at 700. That one ship that's going back to, I believe, Oakland. Japan is doing pretty well. We were one of the earliest countries. We were number 2, and we stuck. We keep going up about 100 every 2 weeks, but we're cruising at 639, and we're testing a lot. So I thought at first that they weren't testing, but they're actually testing quite vigorously. Anybody who comes in and is sick is they're testing as much as they can. But it's a culture difference. The Japanese culture is very conservative. They don't like hugging. They don't do it, they don't speak loudly in public. They don't. They stay generally quiet in most areas. They keep to themselves for the most part. I think that made a difference. Denmark, Netherlands, Sweden, United Kingdom, everyone's numbers are going up. I tip my hat to, where is it? Taiwan. Taiwan has kept their numbers relatively low, considering how close they are to China. So I give my props to them, but it's still not doing pretty well. If you have family and friends, the best you can do is take care of yourself. The entire country of Norway is shutting down, meaning they're trying to stay at home, and hopefully the virus dies out in a few weeks, maybe less. In Japan right now, a lot of the jobs are suspended unless they're either childcare or something that directly supports the economy. A lot of the events have been canceled, so they're taking precautions to keep it from spreading. But it has such a long incubation period. It has like almost a month that it can be active, not on surfaces but on patients. So even if you don't show signs for a few weeks, that doesn't mean you're in the clear. But we've been lucky so far, but that you can't rely on luck. Brazilian president tested our aide. One of the aides to that was with the Brazilian president tested positive, and he was with Trump actually. He posed for a few pictures. So if we need the world leaders to stay healthy, I know Iran lost one of their top officials, even the health minister. It's not that they're special, but they are doing an important job. Jimmy Kramer, he's talking about stopping the federal income tax so we can combat this virus. I think Trump is going to push back the date, so the date that it needs to be paid, I think, is going to be pushed back. The NBA has canceled all their games. One of their players, who was mocking the virus, he had an interview and he was making jokes, touching all the microphones, thinking that everybody's overreacting. He got sick. So because of him being the first actual NBA player to get sick, they canceled the season. They're done. Whoever's playing now, nope, no more. There'll be no champion this year. So we'll see where that. I'm glad to see that. That's an unnecessary pleasure that we have. Tom Hanks and his wife are both sick right now, and they're in Australia. I think they were there for a film, but they're both sick at the moment. They tested positive this morning. I wish them the best. I think people, again, I don't care about the particular individual. Everyone's just as important as the next, but seeing somebody like that pass away would actually cause a shockwave amongst the people, and we're trying to avoid panic. That's been Trump's main thing, avoiding panic. It's easy to scare a whole population, say, now it's bad, run. That's easy. Keeping them calm, keeping them working, keeping the whole system running, that seems to be the challenge here. So I do wish him the best, and I hope he gets better, and I hope, I'm sure he's more than prepared to wait it out. Do not trust these numbers about China saying that they're no longer, that the epidemic reached its peak. It could just mean they stopped testing. You don't have any more cases if you don't test anyone else. They're even having doubts about Japan right now because they say the number's too low. When the health minister, the prime minister is an idiot. I have to say, he's an absolute idiot. He still hasn't stopped travel to Italy. He's still accepting flights from Italy. I have no idea why, and I don't know who he's waiting for. The leader of the World Health Organization, the WHO, is corrupt, in my opinion. He's waiting way too long to make some of these announcements. He listed countries that you should avoid in travel, and he did not list China. He was called out by one of the meetings. They called out that he's either on the take, or he owes favors, or I don't know what the hell he's thinking, but he's being obviously generous to China. But yeah, you can expect that those with power can manipulate things to make it look better. So do not trust the news. A few days ago, I reported news that there was that they're running the factories with nobody in them. They're just trying to keep the electric meters going, showing that the companies are running and burning fuel. That way people see that, oh, they're up to 80% capacity. I doubt that as well. I've seen videos of people screaming at night because they're tired of being trapped into their home. I've seen Italian actors begging to be let out of their apartment because his sister passed away and he's been in the room with her for about a day and a half. These monstrosities are starting to happen. We as Americans are privileged. The way we live, the water we drink, the things we have are very special that we have these things. We haven't seen difficulties really unless you come from a poverty. Aside from that, there's no major issue that we've had to deal with. Elections have been of no real grand concern to us or no real consequence. But this, you'll feel a new pressure and you'll get a new fear and you'll have a new panic that you probably never had before. Don't panic. I've never seen panic work out in a way that helps you in the long run. Stay calm. Be prepared. Buy what you need while it's available. You may not like something. You may think something's not delicious. Buy it in case you have to eat it. And if we by some chance make this unscathed and we pull through with no issues, then at least we have something we can send to someone else who needs it. Because if we happen to somehow be lucky and have minimal effect on us, the rest of the world won't be as lucky. Again, I can show you the numbers. I can show you data. Can I access data? We'll check that later, but the numbers are bad. 4,700 doesn't seem like much, but considering this was a lot less just a few days ago, and it's still about 5% of the overall people who recovered and people who've passed away, it's bad. Italy has stopped accepting senior citizens. This is what happens when you let the government run it. They have to make hard calls like that. We will not accept senior citizens because they're out of beds, out of respiratory, machines. It's getting tricky. Do you want to experience that? Do you want to know what that feels like? I do not. And I don't want that for anyone. Keep yourself clean. From what I read, the masks don't help you if you don't wash up after you take them off. If you go for a train ride, pop it on. I'm looking into seeing what else we can do. Even their disposable masks, seeing if they can be somehow cleaned or sanitized. I'm trying to figure out what else we can do to make these supplies last. We might not be able to get new masks for a while. If you do have some, I think the N49 is the best one. But if you couldn't get your hands on it, what else can you do? Avoiding people seems to be the number one. You can catch it just by breathing the air of someone who is sick, who doesn't know they're sick. Children actually seem to catch it a lot. A lot of the kids are running around positive, but these kids are not getting sick. They're carriers, but they're not getting sick. So that's one huge benefit of this, that the kids seem to be spared from this. Their immune system, nobody understands why these kids are sick, are infected, positive, but they're not getting sick, but they are getting others sick. Not saying avoid kids, but just saying, thankfully that the little ones are going to be okay. And that would just add a lot more trauma to this whole issue. It's all about us senior individuals, not old, but even 30, 40, 50, 60. The higher you go, the worse it gets. We're the ones that are going to feel the brunt of it all. as we should. I'd take any brunt to spare kids. But so far, the cases of people under 18 have been like 0.02. Even though they are testing positive, they're not going to hospital sick. So they may be running around looking healthy, but they still might be positive. So just keep that in mind. The best you can do is wash up, clean up. If you run a business, sanitize, clean daily. If you have employees, make sure they wash up. This is not the time to think, oh, that's not part of my culture. That's not something I do. There is no choice if you care about, not causing a burden. Stay clean, stay safe, be prepared, and I wish you the best of luck. If there's anything I can do or any word you want to pass out there, I know I'm nobody right now, but feel free to reach out, and I'll do the best I can. Thank you very much. お疲れ様です. Have a good night.